I discovered this YouTube channel a while ago called Film Courage, and all the videos, they're all interviews. They talk about the technical, structural component of writing. And I found that somewhat interesting to kind of like try and pick up new ideas or improve what I do myself. And one of the themes of the show that comes up quite a bit is the concept of like whose story is us, which character is the main focus of a story. So like an example I think has come up a few times is in The Great Gatsby, in that book. The title would have you, well, okay, so that's a good example because The Great Gatsby, it's called The Great Gatsby because it is it's Jay Gatsby's story, but in the book itself, it's this little weirdo called Nick Buchanan who's the narrator. So that's an instance where the narrator is, it's not actually his story, it's more about this other dude, Jay Gatsby. And yeah, it's an interesting way of kind of figuring things out, or like the structural aspect of writing, because like let's say you had two main characters. It's rare that like they'll have like an equal part, even if it's like a very close relationship. It'll be like leaning one towards, the story would be more about one rather than the other. Um and Yeah, I anyway, I and you can play around with that, right? So sometimes you could be like, you assume it's about one person, but it's more about like how they're it's more about like their wife's story, even though that they're the narrator and it's like got their name on the movie, but it fucks with you a little bit because you're like, oh, this story is actually more about the wife's journey across the film. So anyway, something kind of obvious, but if you weren't paying attention, you would maybe not notice in some instances. So it begs the question: in your own life, are you the main character? And is your story about you? And if it is that a good choice? Like I sometimes see I think it's pretty common for like uh in the past, the man in the family would be like the main character. It's like, this is what dad does for a living. This is what dad's social life is, and like all the other people were like the hangers on. And so now, women are educated, women have their own careers, and so and also kind of like I would say that like children have their own identities pretty young now, in terms of like kids having YouTube accounts and things like that. So I don't know, we've shifted almost to a model where there's like everyone thinks they are the main character, even if you're like a child. I guess that's an obvious thing. Kids think that they are the main character. Um, but yeah, I guess I sometimes question like if if you if you're just desperate to be the main star of the show, then you're gonna want to make yourself the main character. But maybe it will be better for you to be like the a supporting role. And you see this sometimes in terms of like, I don't know, artists or something, where someone is like I don't know, Vincent van Gogh, like his brother was the only one who believed in him. And that seemed like a weird relationship where it was like Vincent van Gogh was kind of like not popular when he was alive and kind of one eared, bit of a one eared loser, to be honest. So maybe the bra was the main character, but maybe the bra was like, yeah, I'm just a fucking accountant and my life's pretty boring. I kind of want to be a supporting role in my one eared loser of a brother's life because he's got something better going on. So sometimes, and people do that kind of like in situations with their work, like they're they meet like a, I don't know, a real go-getter in their company who's going to like rise to the top, and they become their right hand man. Like, doesn't Warren Buffett have like a right hand man that he's had for like 50 years? And so that guy, in the story of his life, Warren Buffett might be the main character. So it's an interesting thing to fuck with a little bit in terms of like if you're if you're not a good leader and people kind of don't really like your story and you're strong arming them into you being the main character, maybe that's going to make for a pretty shit movie for yourself and other people in it. Would it be better for you to kind of like have a supporting role in a way better movie elsewhere? Interesting. But the thing is, you have to kind of like swallow your own ego there and be like, yeah, I've tried this. I've tried my own shit for 40 years and I haven't come up with much. Now I'm gonna like try and rebirth as a kind of a supporting character. Yeah, and like imagine and let's play that out. If you're that person who kind of says, yeah, can't do this anymore. I'm not a leading man. I'm losing my hair. Um, my teeth are falling out. And you don't have the looks anymore, or the gumption to be the star of the show, turning around to your supporting actors and being like, yeah, it's over. Show's cancelled. We're not doing this anymore. Then maybe they'd be like, great, I've been waiting for this moment, and just take the reins, and then they can kind of like run and be the new spin-off series star of the show. Um, but maybe not. Maybe they're like, hang on, you're a flawed character, but you've all we got. Like, there's no other stars here. So anyway, that's kind of an implosion that you'd maybe have to worry about. But yeah, it's all about good movies, folks. So if you're trying to be a trying to be the star of the show, make sure you're a good star. I hate ending these episodes. It's so difficult to figure out what to say. So whatever.